I make a motion to call the meeting to order, please.
Second.
Thank you.
So we will get cracking on this. So we'll start with some programming updates. So Wakefield Academy program is ongoing. That program, as it currently is run, will be in place until April 2nd. As of April 2nd, that'll be the final day because the kids obviously go back to school full time on the 5th. What I came to learn last week was that Academy presented two scenarios to the school department on what to do for before and after care for the full school day. One concept was apparently doing it at the schools as they've traditionally done, something before at each individual school and then after that each individual school. And then there was a proposal to use a civic center for the same thing. What was decided by the powers that be at the schools was to use the civic center. So they are going to have kids dropped off at 7 in the morning. They'll be there till 8:15. Then they're being bused to their schools. And then they're coming back at 2 o'clock and they'll be there till 6. It does create some hurdles for me. And admittedly, I was not fully involved in the conversation as to how this all came about. But on my end, it actually is a benefit. And I'll explain that. We are charging the school department essentially rent to use the space. And that money is coming back to us through CARES Act money. So the government's paying for it. Doing all my numbers, now we had already sent them an invoice in December for September to December, and that came to the tune of $71,700. We got that check already. I've done the rest of the year. It's another about $127,000 to use the space. We anticipate that we'll get that too. So we're looking at $204,000 that's come to us for renting the space out from the government. In a year where we had no programs, and we were bringing in no income, we're going to be in the black for our budget. Wow. Positive last year that we were not going to be anywhere near the black. We're in the black. So we're thrilled to have them for the rest of the year. We will make any hurdles that were there work. The real hurdles are the Boys and Girls Club is going to need time. So we're going to have to split the gym between the program and the Boys and Girls Club. That can be arranged. I do have some rentals already committed to coming in. What's that, Jed?
Where will the Wakefield Academy kids go when they were using the gym?
So, well, both are going to be in the gym. So we'll split the gym in half. And we can do that because the Boys and Girls Club can reduce their numbers in the gym. So they'll just send up small groups. And what the Academy will do, we'll use the gym and the Heritage Room like they've already been using. So there's a way to make it all work and make everybody happy. I do have some rentals committed to come in at 5:30. And I had them committed to coming at 5:30. They've been coming at 5:30 since September. So at 5:30, everybody's out of the gym. Heritage Room or downstairs. I don't care where you go, but that gym is now committed to that group coming in. Either way, this is a very positive thing for us, especially in a year when budget-wise, if you told me this time last year that we would be here, I would have believed you. So this is great news for us. We're happy to do it. And otherwise, the program's going great. I have told Academy that, so up to this point, we've been taking registrations for the program. We've been handling all the payments that are coming in from people sending the billing and invoices. As of April 5th, we're not doing that. I feel like this program that's coming in April 5th is what they do, what they've done. Before it was different. It was a collaboration. Now I look at it as this is theirs again. They can do it. And quite honestly, I don't want to incur those credit card fees. I don't want to incur those costs that are going to come through our database. We get billed based off of how much we bring in. So the more that I keep taking in registrations for them is the more I'm going to end up getting billed later. So we're done with that just to keep our costs down. I think it's going to work out fine and everybody will be happy in the end. And that way they can control their list, their rosters, and it should be a little bit smoother. We are just strictly a rental at this point for them. Well, April 5th, we're strictly a rental. So that's the long and the short of it for Academy.
And do you see that this is going to continue next September?
No.
Okay.
I fully expect that next September will be as back to normal as we can be. Obviously there's going to be some changes school-wise, but those aren't going to be impact the Civic Center at all. And quite honestly, I don't think I'd even float the concept of doing this unless we were going to get money for it. And then we'd have to talk about what do the hours look like and what's the impact on the Boys and Girls Club, because they have been great soldiers through all of this. I know that the Civic Center is technically, our space, but they are the anchor tenant, and we want to make sure that their needs are filled too. And I get along so well with their administration that we want to work hand in hand and help one another, and we're doing that. So I think everything will be back to normal September, and I know that's what Academy wants. I know that they want to get back to the schools. I think the parents want them back to the schools so they can drop off their kids early and pick them up at that location. That's where they expect to be. So I think we all want the same thing. It's just getting there. And now I guess just wasn't the time to have everybody back at the schools for as many hours. So we can make it work. And in the interim, so when Academy's not at the Civic Center, I'm planning to bring pickleball back. I'm probably not going to do that till after April vacation. I need to, there's so many supplies that I need to get out of the gym to make it a safe environment for the players. So we'll bring them back, but we're going to do, instead of having drop-in like we've done, I don't feel like we're at that level where we can do that, or even people would be comfortable doing that. We're going to do private court rentals. So a group of 4 to 6 can rent I'm only going to offer 2 courts instead of the 3, can rent the court for $30 an hour. And we'll do that for, 9 a.m. to, 1 or whatever it is, 9 to 2. So we'll give people options to come back and play. I think a lot of people will still want to go outdoors, but there'll be some who want to come indoors, and we just want to get them back in the facility so they know that we're still here and we're still supportive of that. And we want them back in September full time. So that's kind of the plan for all of that. Community Gardens is ongoing. The registration for the lottery. Last year we had, and I'm guessing because I didn't go back and double check, we had about 60 people apply last year. As of today, I have 85 who are registered for the lottery. Yep. And that's it. The lottery's open for a few more weeks. I mean, it's open until the beginning of April. The lottery drawing will be on the 14th of April, and I'm doing it at 10 a.m. Facebook Live, just so you guys know that. Jed, you came in kind of fuzzy there.
How many spots do we have?
We have 46.
46.
Yep, and I do give.
Can we get more money to get more?
Oh, well, not really. I mean, we get $50 a plot.
No, I mean, can we get more state money to open up another section?
Well, so myself, Maureen Butt, one of the town councilors, and a few other people were at the gardens back in September, I think it was. And Jason Lewis, state senator, was there, and he had intimated to us there's gonna be no state aid on those kinds of things for a while. So don't ask. The budget's been crushed. In the future, if we wanted to, there might be something there. But as of right now, nothing. So maybe down the line. And the other thing is we need to find another place to do it. I know there was lots of proposed sites before, but there was also a lot of angst about some of the sites. So we'll cross that bridge down the road, but at least there's the demand there. And from my quick run on numbers, almost, I would say 95% of the people from last year reapplied again this year. So that's a good thing. People who did it before had a positive experience that they want to come back. So that's exciting, and we'll see what happens with all of that and how many more people we get interested in it. And the interest helps us later for a case of, hey, can we get more because we can possibly build more? So that's positive, because when I was in Arlington, it wasn't the case. We only had 24 plots, I think it was, but you had that until you gave it up. Here we sit there and say every year you got to reapply. So the genuine interest is there, which is good.
Is there any thought of putting a limit on how many times somebody can get it 2 times or 3 times in a row, and then you have to, give it up to somebody else?
We didn't do that just because it's totally luck of the draw at this point. I mean, I'm literally pulling names out of a hat or out of a bowl. So everybody has an equal chance. And last year, a lot of people who were offered plots didn't take them because we started so late in the season, because things just weren't opened up yet. So, you know, people who didn't get plots originally ended up getting plots. So I think of the 60 names that we had, in the end, probably 54 people ended up winning. You know, or we had multiple people in the household win, and I'd sit there and say, okay, we're not going to have 2 plots in the household. I need you to give one up for somebody else. And people were really good about that. So I think we're still getting a lot of people who can still have that chance to win a plot. But
That's great.
It's an interesting thought.
Dan, is there anything that you're doing differently this year than you did last year, or are you pretty much just building on whatever you learned and what went on last year?
Honestly, Annie, I think people are just finding out about it now. You know, I think last year, obviously, we did all the promotion we could, the town did all they could, but I think people, you know, who were down at JJ Rounds, like, well, what's that? And I think they sat there and said, oh, that's kind of an interesting thing. I want to be part of that. Or I know the town is Jen McDonald, who's our information officer or whatever. She's fabulous. She's pushing out community garden stuff all the time. So my guess is people just seeing it a little bit more.
Mhm.
And one thing, and I think you were one who brought it up to me, was, well, we needed some signage down there, you know, to say, well, what is this? You know, there's this big thing, but what is it? Mass in Motion, Kara Showers, who's through the health department, she reached out to me and she had some grant money. And she said,
Oh,
do you
great.
have any needs? I said, well, actually, yeah, I do, but it's for signage. Do you do that? Well, it can. So I came up with the language. I sent it over to Joe Conway and to Jen McDonald. Jen, I want her eyeballs on anything that we send out for the most part, and said, take a look at this. This is what I want on the signage. And they're going to end up billing Kara and the Mass in Motion grant for the signage. So
That's great.
that's
Very
a big plus.
exciting.
Yep. And that should be in place before we start, is my hope. I mean, if it's not, it'll be shortly thereafter. So that's where we are with community gardens. Any questions about it?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Question about garden.
Yeah.
So are they gonna like read the soil or anything, or is it just whoever gets it is responsible for regrading the soil, or?
You were all distorted there.
I couldn't hear him either, Dan, I know.
The soil, are they going to re-energize the soil, bring more compost, or it's on the garden owner that?
So that's one of the things. That's a good question, and I've been wondering that too. It's one of those things I got to ask Joe and Steve if we're good. You know, I would call Black Earth, because that's who put it in before. Yep. Are we able to use this for another year? Is it just turn it over? That's what we used to do in Arlington. But you know, can they come out and just do a test or whatever for us? But I got to run that by the powers that be. But that's a question that I've been thinking about as well. My guess would be it's fine, but I by no means have a green thumb. I don't have a garden of my own. Most things that I have tend to die. So, you know, lucky that the kids and dogs and wife are still alive. Because anything that's green outside other than my grass, they don't survive, no matter what I do. So I'm not the best person that I'll ask those who are much smarter than me. The next thing that we have coming up is esports. So that's something that we did in the winter. So surprisingly to myself and the other towns, so we do it with Arlington, Woburn, Reading, and Billerica. All of our numbers in the winter were great. All of our numbers right now are terrible. I think we have the most with 7 people total registered. A few of the towns, Reading and Billerica, have nobody. So we're all seeing low numbers. We're attributing it to the fact that, you know, soccer, baseball, softball, lacrosse are all starting up, and people just want to get outside. And we totally get it, and we hope that's the case and that they didn't have a negative experience, because we haven't heard anything good, bad, or indifferent. You know, we heard relatively positive, but we didn't hear anything otherwise. So that's what we're attributing it to, but we got another few weeks before we have to figure out exactly what the plan for that is. Next, we have Tot Soccer coming up. That'll start in a few weeks. We do have a new vendor for it this year. We're still using Soccer Shots for Tots. That's who we've used for the last 4 years at least here. Unfortunately, our old contact, he was a victim of COVID and it took his company down. So another franchise within that company has taken over. The director seems like a great guy. I've spoken with him numerous times. Every time I've called up and said, here's an issue that we have, how are we able to fix it? Yeah, no problem. You know, you have a hardship. Yep, we got it. Don't even question it. Send it. You know, geez, we have a 2-year-old who wants to be with their 3-year-old brother or sister, another class, can we do that? Yep, absolutely. So they're really flexible, easy to work with. In the classes right now, we just started advertising it on Friday. We have 16 people already registered. So we're doing pretty well with that. And finally, the next program we have coming up is Washed Up Ballers for the high school kids. I know Jed likes that. So I'll admit, I wasn't the biggest fan of having it come back at first, just because, we got high school kids who are going to go out and, I don't know that they're going to wear their masks and, they're just trying to get some normalcy, but, is it the right time? And Matt Shea, who oversees this program for us, he stepped up to do it for the last several years, said, Dan, I will personally be there. I'll hold everybody accountable. These kids need something to look forward to. It's been an awful year. They're mostly seniors. Can we please do it? And he tugged right at my heartstrings and said, you know what? You're absolutely right. So we offered it. 40 kids registered immediately. They start up the 11th of April. Matt's in control of the program, and it should be a win-win for everybody. So we're excited about that. And hopefully the kids will have a great experience, and hopefully the hockey players, don't try to kill all the basketball players. Hockey players don't belong in a basketball court. Any questions about programs?
The washed up ball is it basketball or is it baseball and basketball?
Yeah, basketball. Yeah.
It was there's so those 4 seniors need something to do. So
Absolutely.
I'm very happy with doing it, and they're very excited about it. And Matt is a great guy. I've coached basketball for many years in baseball. So Matt, he's a stand-up guy, and if he says he'll do something, he'll do it.
He's aces. He really is. You can't meet a nicer guy who's willing to give the time and put in the effort to make things successful, especially for the kids. So he's top notch in my book. Field wise, so I'm waiting on schedules from Wakefield High for what's currently going on, which is football. I don't know what their practice schedule for that or track look like, but Brendan and I will work that out. And then obviously they don't know what spring practice times and such are going to look like yet, because if anything's kind of fallen into place, for the current season, they didn't know until 2 weeks before what football was going to look like and what track was going to look like. So we're kind of got to be patient here, but we'll work all that out. And Brendan's been communicating, I know, with youth soccer to kind of see when they can get off fields to get youth onto fields. So make that work. I'm also waiting on schedules from youth baseball and youth softball. I know that they've had their evaluations. They're probably divvying up teams, so we'll get all that stuff hopefully soon, because I'd like to get those things scheduled. Turf, for the most part, is scheduled. We already have teams out on the fields, which is great. Lights are on at the high school and at Galvin fields. So we got lacrosse out there and soccer out there. Exciting to see them out there. And we expect that the grass fields will open up in a few weeks. Dennis Fazio is very cautious about grass fields, which I can appreciate. He doesn't want anybody out yet. Once we do, it'll probably be sneakers only for a little bit. And then when things start to harden up, we'll let them out there with the cleats. But we're probably a couple weeks away. And if weather holds kind of like it has been the last couple of days, we could be there even sooner. So that's where we're at with fields. In tennis courts, I expect to have lights on probably by late time next week. April 1st is always kind of my window. If weather again holds out, we'll turn those on, because I'm already getting phone calls. I've been getting phone calls since last week, and I said, well, yeah, we have one day that's 60, but tomorrow's gonna be a 20. I'm not turning on for that. But if we kind of see this wave where it's gonna be warm, we'll get them on. So that's where we're at with fields. Any questions on fields? Annie?
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself.
Okay.
I saw something in the item and I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was pickleball going in at Vets Field. Do you have anything to do with that, Dan?
So I don't have anything to do with the project. I do know, the tennis courts at Vets have been in disarray for years. They've been, since I've been here, they've been completely unusable. And it was voted on few years ago to approve those to be fixed. They were supposed to be done last year, but of course we had a pandemic, so that didn't happen. It is happening this year. I've talked to Bill Renault, our town engineer. From what I understand, it's going to be 2 tennis courts and 2 pickleball courts, but don't quote me on that because he and I were in a meeting and I was trying to pay attention to what was going on there and listen to him at the same time, and I can barely walk and chew gum at the same time. So I'm pretty sure that's what he said, and I know that it's being done. My guess is it'll probably be done late spring, summerish, and possibly go into the fall. So I don't know how much play there'll be this year, but they'll be built this year.
Great, thank you.
Chris, you have anything?
Nope.
Okay. On to Civic Center. So a development came, or an interesting thing came across my desk last week. JC Marketing, they're staying in the building, but they're going to downsize. So they have 2 big rooms upstairs. They are going to get rid of one side. They just don't need it. They're paying quite a bit in rent. So they are going to give up one of their spaces. I have already offered that space to one of the other tenants already in the building, Mass Partnership for Youth. They've always been looking for more space, Mass Partnership. They're very interested. JC Marketing would likely be out by June 1st. I told the Mass Partnership that we would probably need a few months just to get some things ready because it needs, fresh paint. It's going to need a new rug. I kind of walked through it and that rug's been there for a while and looks worn. If we're going to put somebody in there, I want to give them something decent to go into. So we're probably looking at September 1st where they'll go in there. And they'll pick up the other half of the rent that JC Marketing was already paying. They may also stay in the space that they're currently in. So they may keep both spaces, one for storage, one for office meeting space. If they end up giving up their current space, what I may do is look to make that a rentable by month kind of office setting for people who, I get this a lot of calls a lot. Do you have an open, office space that we can rent for 2-3 months at a time? Lawyers, CPAs, that kind of stuff. So we may do something like that. And I know the town had expressed to me that they'd be interested in doing something like that. We'll kind of see where it goes. I could also leave it as an extra meeting space that we could rent out for smaller groups. So there's a lot of moving parts there. We'll kind of see how it all shakes out. I need to know what Mass Partnership's going to do before I really put it in my mind what we're going to do. But I just have a couple ideas for it. And I'll obviously run that stuff by you guys before we do it. Jet.
What's our ADA responsibility for that space?
You still came in squirrely.
Responsibility to make that space accessible?
Anybody pick that up?
Mm-mm.
Your microphone's in back. Sometimes it comes in good, sometimes I can't hear you at all.
My question, can you hear me now?
A little bit.
So my question was about ADA accessibility for the second floor. Do we have responsibilities to make that space accessible?
Well, it is. And we have an elevator to get up there.
We do?
Oh yeah, there's an elevator. Yeah. So it's all good. And the doors are, in fact, they have 2 doors that open up. So that office would be more than accessible. But it's a good question.
And if the space became available, like you said, for small meetings or something, how many people would it fit? Or how big a group would it be
So
accommodate?
So Mass Partnership, before they came to the Civic Center, that was a meeting space. And it had a table that you could probably fit 10 around.
Okay.
So, quite honestly, we as a board could have met in there. And again, that's something that okay, we'll leave the Heritage Room open for bigger rentals, and small groups like us or the Historical Commission, whoever, could potentially use that. There's a lot of moving parts there that we could certainly do. And honestly, it could also be a small programmable space. If we're going to do something with, I don't know, Jed teaching a realty class, something like that could be done in there. So just kind of throwing that out there. There's always ways to use space. In my mind, we can never have enough of it. So we'll find a way no matter what happens with it. Also for the Civic Center, we are having all men's basketball groups are going to come back starting April 5th. Our Thursday night group is already going, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are all coming back for the first week of April, which is exciting. And then something that I'm actually really excited about. So Wakefield Youth Football reached out to me and wanted to know if they could get their cheer program in the gym starting in September. So Wakefield Cheer will be coming in September and October, which I think is great because I have the mats there anyways. My daughter's cheer team was there a few years ago, and it was always fun to watch them. You know, I'm a cheer dad, so I'm excited to have them in there, and they're thrilled to come because they'll now have a dedicated space. I guess they've been practicing outdoors. Sometimes they go to the high school gym. This will be a little bit easier and definitely a little bit more affordable for them. So we're thrilled to have them. And they're a tenant in the building. You know, Pop Warner's youth football is a tenant. So whenever we can get them in, the tenants, give them space, we're happy to do that. So they'll be in. Any questions about the Civic Center? Chris, any questions?
No, all set.
Okay. So for some new stuff, I'm going to start with just some summer programs, just so that kind of lets you know where we stand with everything. So we are offering chess this summer, and actually chess, one session of it already has 7 kids registered, which I was thrilled about. We are doing a class called Expert Architects. We tried to run this last year. Obviously the pandemic hit us, so it never ran. Only 1 signed up so far, but this is at the end of August. I expect that will have enough to run. We're doing a class Rocket Science with Wicked Cool Kids. That has 2 signed up. We just advertised that the other day. We have this program, Lego Civic Project. That only has 2 signed up right now, but again, that's later in the summer. We have Wicked Cool Vet School, which again, through Wicked Cool Kids, that has 7 registered today. Takes a max of 14, so we're halfway there already. For our summer program that we are running, in the past, we've run it at the schools. I have been told thus far that we are unable to access the schools this summer, is what it is. So I'm running our summer program out of the Civic Center, which quite honestly, I like because it's underneath my nose at all times. I'm not driving across town. If there's an issue, I'm right there. I maxed our program this summer at 50 participants. In the past, we've had 50 in the morning, and usually we get a bunch more from Academy in the afternoons. That's not going to be the case this year. We have 50. You register all for the full week because I want to know who's when and where. In the past, I've allowed you to do by day. This is, you're registering from Monday through Friday or Tuesday through Friday, depending on the week. And as of today, we are over halfway full for each week. And we've got a while to go. So that's exciting. Sadly, because I'm taking less kids means I'm hiring less staff. I've had 17 staff in past summers. This year I have 8. So currently I've hired 3 total. Actually 4, because I hired my director too. I hired the Jetic twins, Olivia and Hannah. They're 2 of the best I've ever had. I was thrilled to get them back. And then we hired Liam Cosgrove, who's worked for us for 1 summer. He blew me away in his 1 summer, so we're lucky to have him back. The Jetics, they play basketball at Bridgewater State. Liam is an athlete at Bentley. I think he's doing track there, but he was also a football captain at Wakefield High. 3 kids that I can count on. Everybody else has to reapply for their positions. They know that. And I'm interviewing everybody. So I have a bunch of applications already, some returners, some new. I'm looking for personality fits. I'm looking for people who don't need a whole lot of direction, can take a group of kids and say, you know what, I'm going to keep them busy. And they'll do sports and games. They'll do arts and crafts in the mornings. They'll do snack. I also want them to come up with something that they're going to do with their group, a counselor-led activity. And then in the afternoons, I'm bringing in a few exciting programs. So I'm going to have Kids Test Kitchen is going to come in on Tuesdays, and they're going to run some cooking stuff with the kids. And then another group that I've worked with for years in Arlington reached out. They wanted to come and do some stuff. We have some programs that we're working on, but they're going to come every Thursday and do a Ninja Warrior program with the kids. So it should be really fun. And that's not an additional cost. We're taking our profits from what we expect to make from the camp and reinvesting that into the program so we get more interest. And I think those 2 programs alone will be exciting. I want to find 1 more. So I want structure. I want to keep these kids busy. I want to keep them excited, engaged, and send them home tired because They've been cooped up for way too long. So that's our plan. And I don't want people inside unless it's raining. We have the turf fields. We're going outside, go play, go be kids. That's what we did when we were younger. That's what we want now. So that's what the summer camp looks like, or I don't want to say that C word, the summer program looks like. We also have a field hockey programs, well, several field hockey programs this summer with Tina Matera, who is a coach at a local D3 college. I can't say the name that she's at, but it's in Medford. Per her restrictions as a D3 coach, she's not allowed to advertise where she's from or what school she's at. We're excited to have her for 5 weeks this summer, or 5 programs this summer. And her numbers are actually very good. One of them is a high school level program, and she has kids literally coming from all over the country. I mean, Georgia, California, Ohio, Virginia, North Carolina, they're coming from all over, and that'll be a good program. So we're excited to have such a high level program underneath us. Wakefield Soccer is going to do 3 weeks with us again this summer. They're fabulous. The Wakefield softball coach, Chris Tolios, is doing something with us. Kevin Canty, the baseball coach, is going to end up doing something with us. Chris Keene, the golf coach, is putting something together. Tim Johnson from lacrosse is going to do something. Kim Penny, my favorite contractor ever, is going to have her summer program again with us for basketball. Jason Pavey is going to do some basketball, the girls basketball coach. Johnny Walsh and Paul Moran, who are 2 local coaches. I think John's at Malden Catholic now. Paul is girls coach at Marblehead. Been working with them for a few years. John lives in town. They do a great job. They're going to run a program with us. Viking Sports, as I mentioned, is going to do some stuff. Sandy Palmer is back, going to do tennis. Sports Zone is going to be with us. They used to be at the Civic Center. We're moving them over to Maple Way for the summer. And then the Blacktop basketball. And we are actually adding Blacktop. It used to be grades 5 and 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I think 8, 9, or 9, 10. We're adding to the 11th grade as well, because those kids missed out last year and they're asking to do it. So we're doing it. We're gonna have an older group this year. And you know, pending the availability of getting into the high school for some of our clinics, if we're able to do that, the Blacktop will take place at Galvin. If we're not able to get into the high school, the basketball programs will take place at Galvin outdoor courts, and Blacktop will take place at JJ. Or we'll just do it in the afternoons. That's still kind of up in the air. We're working on that plan. So we're in good shape. I think we have a lot of offerings. I did definitely dial it down a little bit, but I think people are interested and engaged, and we're going to see big numbers.
Dan?
Yep.
My only concern would be Blacktop at JJ.
Yep.
Just because the posts are so close to the end of the court.
We did it there when I started, Rich. That's where Blacktop actually originated.
Yeah, I remember. Now that you have the Galvin courts, yeah, it's fine.
We do have
It's just
pads.
more dangerous there than it is at the Galvin courts as well.
We do have pads for those courts now.
Yep. Okay.
So it's a good point. Because the Galvin courts, that would be my preference. The thing is, I know these basketball clinics are going to take place in the mornings. And I know that Blacktop traditionally is taking place in the mornings. And I think that's where our numbers are. I think people by the afternoon, it gets hotter and they're not wanting to go out. We'll figure that out. My preference would be Galvin, but if we think that the numbers are going to be morning time, we have the pads to put on the stanchions at JJ. So I would be comfortable with it. It's not ideal, but I'd be comfortable with it for the summer.
Dan,
Any
how
other
many?
questions? Yeah, Julie.
Oops, sorry. How many of the programs that you were just talking about with all those coaches? How many of them are currently taking registration? You know, like are they all in already?
Not all of them. So we're still waiting for info from softball, golf, baseball, lacrosse, Kim Penny, Viking. Sports Zone just got us there. So that's online. Blacktop's not online yet. Tennis just came in today. So, 10 or so, we still need to get final information on.
And those programs are mostly are they like summer long programs, or is it
No,
just like a year there?
Mostly 1 weeks.
Okay.
Sports Zone will be something that will take place all summer. That's just what they do. Everything else is 1, maybe 2 weeks. The field hockey. She's 5 different clinics. Wakefield Soccer is doing 3. Softball will be one, golf will be one, baseball will be one. Last year we had lacrosse pen for 2. I met with Timmy Johnson maybe last week. All the days are kind of blending at this point. I think he wanted to scale down to 1, but maybe do 1 morning, 1 afternoon for different age groups. Kim Penny is always 1. Jason Pavey is definitely doing 2. Walsh Moran is 1. Viking Sports is going to be a few different things. So they want to do Ninja Warriors, a standalone program. We're all for that. I think that's going to be 1 or 2 weeks. We're also doing a program called Snag Golf, and I was not familiar with it. I had to look up what it is with them. And it's for like tots to about entering kindergarten and just teaching them some of the basics of golf. Not necessarily, swinging a club, but, taking like a tethered ball and throwing it towards, so you kind of have that swinging motion towards a target. And they do hit some like, softballs with fake clubs. Just kind of that. And then they have a program, Watch Me Play, for tots. So those are a few of the ones that we're implementing with them. We've just been trying to get their write-ups. We have the dates picked out. We have the pricing. I just need their write-ups and we're ready to go. Those are the ones that we don't really have. Everything else is online, ready to go. And we're seeing registrations. I mean, I bet you if I went to my email right now, people are registered as we've been talking here. I just see them throughout the day, and that's what we want more and more. And sadly, I feel bad for people on Facebook because they're going to see us just promoting, kind of like I was doing during the pandemic, hoping that something was going to happen. Eventually, I had to give in. They're going to get something from us every day at this point. New program just to let them know that this is what we have going on. Any other questions about programs? Chris, you got anything?
Nope, sounds good.
Okay. So some other things that we have coming up. So, and this is something that I'm kind of looking for input on and possibly a vote. That would be up to you guys if you think it's needed. So Wakefield Youth Softball reached out. So Wakefield Youth Softball has separated from Wakefield Little League. Little League is baseball. Wakefield Softball is its own separate organization now. And Wakefield Youth Softball reached out and they want to do signage on the fencing at Mapleway in Doyle. And the signage they want to put up is for the businesses who are supporting their teams. So it's not just, whoever doing it. It's a team, ones who are supporting their teams, they want to be able to put signage up for them. I'm personally in favor of it. I think in a year where a lot of small businesses got crushed because of the pandemic, any little advertisement that they can get is a great thing, but that's my personal opinion. I want your feedback on this, and if you think that that's something that you'd be in favor of.
Well, you just made a great argument for small businesses that have tried to survive over the last year. So I might vote in favor of with you, but generally speaking, I'm not a big sign person. They're all crooked, they're whatever. I just don't like it. But under the circumstances of how you just described it, I think it sounds like a pretty good idea.
The one caveat that I put in there is for these guys, in I haven't had the conversation with them. They proposed it and they asked for vets. I said, well, vets was off. I knew that was never going to fly with the Friends of the Lake. So they said, well, okay, we're not going to do that. They wanted the other ones. My caveat would be at the end of your season, they're down. Because I know that things tend to get left behind and they get hung up and they stay there. Now, whatever the last of your seasons, they got to go, or the day after they have to go. And that's just to kind of get some things back to normal. But I do want to help the small business. If a small business is going to go out there, and we'll use Barrett Realty as an example, if they're sponsoring a team, it's been a tough year for everybody. So they're willing to give a little bit extra money to support the youth. My feeling is if we give a sign, what's the harm? And I personally am not a fan of signs everywhere either. Sometimes I think it can look tacky, but if it's done right, I think this year could be a benefit.
The only thing I can think of is, well, first of all, I'm generally okay with it as long as there are parameters. I like the idea of once the season's over, the signs are gone. It's just at the Doyle when school is still in session.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if that's what people think about that, but during the school year to have a sign on the school field, I guess they're at Galvin. I'm more thinking out loud, but you don't see signs on the field at Dolbear for soccer or some other places like that. So Maple Way, I'm okay with because that's not right there at the school, but I don't know if that's something we even need to consider, having the signs on the school property. Does anyone have thoughts on that?
I was just gonna say, I don't think there's a problem with the signs being, I mean, there aren't any down at all there because nobody's ever asked. You know, I don't, there's so much going on at schools that the kids are looking out the, I don't think it'd be a distraction, but you know, I agree with everybody else. I don't like the idea of signs. I think they're tacky too, but as long as, like you said, as long as they're taken down right afterwards, I don't have a problem with it.
My problem is I don't, when I look at it, I don't see them as uniform. I'm one of those people that everything has to look alike, and they're not all uniform because everybody has a different logo. So they can't be all uniform. And maybe they're made by different sign companies. There's a whole bunch of reasons why, but they don't come down, I don't believe they come down at the Galvin, do they?
They do not.
Yeah.
No.
So there's, you know, you can't tell them to take them down from Maple Way if we're not telling them taken down in
What's funny,
Galvin.
we don't have any oversight of those ads either at Galvin. I've got to be honest. I don't know who does. I think Wakefield Youth Soccer does, or Wakefield Soccer Association does, but I don't know.
Well, how do they have, they can't have say over them if it's a school field,
right?
That's scheduled by the recreation department.
Right.
So those aren't all soccer, are they? All those?
Yeah,
They are all soccer.
At Galvin, yeah. Just like the ones at Landrigan are all through the boosters for the high school.
Yeah.
Is it working now? Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
I just watched the news 3 days ago. Signs. I have the Landrigan sign, I have the Walton sign, and I have the Fertile sign. So the Little League signs are through Little League. The other sign is from the bushes for the different sports teams that are part of the schools. So to put a sign up in a school like the Doyle, I do think there's some kind of issue with that because that's not part of the Little Leagues or now the softball leagues domain. I feel like putting a sign up at Maple Way is fine, but I also understand where the signs are going to go. There's no outfield fences there, so they're going on the backstop.
That would be my guess, though Maple Way will have the fencing on it.
They're going to put the fence back up, but that was down Maple Way. So that outfield fence goes in and out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't want to be quoted on that for sure, but
okay.
I mean, it's been out the last few years. I'd imagine it goes back up.
Yeah, the money that I pay to those others, they go to the booster clubs.
Okay.
The softball, Dan, you said they split from Little League.
Yep.
So who like Little League's out of Williamsport and all that. So who's their umbrella insurance under?
You had to ask that question. I know this too.
Well, that's okay.
USA Softball.
Oh, okay.
I'm okay with it. I don't see a problem with it, particularly for this year, given the reasons we've talked about. And I think it's something you can always try for 1 year. Let them do it. If there are any major issues or problems, then we don't let them do it next year. But I don't see a problem, particularly with this being their first year and they're really trying to make an impact and get their program off to a great start. I'm in support of allowing signs with certain parameters of sizing and timing.
Rich, do you have any feelings on this?
No, I think, I'm sorry, was that me?
No, go ahead, Jed.
Go ahead, Rich.
I think the idea sounds great. I want to make sure that the fields they're playing on are the ones they're putting up signs on and not, conflicted with other sports. Jed, when you buy those signs, who do you buy them from?
So we won't be doing it. So Youth Softball is the one presenting all of this, and they're the ones who would be facilitating it.
No, I know. I'm just curious if if Jed gets approached by Wakefield Soccer, Wakefield Lacrosse, Wakefield baseball.
Advertising. I believe that $50 to wherever it is, $5, whoever's making the sign. We pay the money for the sign to be made, and we pay another fee to have the sign up.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it, Dan.
Okay. Is this something that we need a formal vote on, or is this something that I can just go ahead and give them within the parameter of it has to be done by the end of the year, or off, removed by the end of the year?
There didn't seem to be any opposition to it,
Right.
so.
I just don't know if we want, if you guys feel like a formal vote's needed on this. I'm indifferent.
We can always, I don't think it's gonna hurt to vote on it. It's not gonna hurt not to vote on it either, you know? If everybody's on board with it.
Yeah,
I'm
somebody make a
fine.
motion.
So who wants to make the motion? Okay,
Fields predicated on school committee approval of the Doyle.
Second?
I'll second it.
No, I was gonna say, I'm assuming that was Jed making the motion because it was all garbled.
It was, but I got most of it.
Yeah.
Did you put in
Plausible deniability.
are we putting in there the thing about replacing them, taking them down at the end of the season though?
I would, yeah, I'd want that in there.
I think he said that.
He did say it.
I think so.
Yeah, hold up the sign.
Did he? Or maybe he didn't, we don't know.
Yeah,
All in favor.
and I also, again, not on this one. Did I catch that pending approval from the school committee at Doyle?
I heard-
Why didn't you hear anything? You sound like Charlie Brown's mom.
We
I
heard.
heard that.
That came in clearly.
Sorry, I had to.
So I think the motion is to allow the signs pending that they come down at the end of the year and they're kept in good stead, you know, they're up, they're in place, they're not ratty, they don't get broken, and that the school committee approves it. Is that what we got?
Jed, is that what you like?
Do they
Okay,
have to approve it at Maple Way or just,
no, that's not school field.
yeah, so.
Any questions about it? Comments, discussion? All in favor?
I'll go aye.
Hi.
Show of hands, I guess. Jed, are you in or out? Okay, opposed?
Whoops.
Anybody opposed? Okay, there you go, Dan.
Thanks. That was good, Rich. Okay, so then we also have so just to kind of make you all aware, so I know it's been in the paper a lot about the boating at the lake. So the town is done, Steve talked to the town council and they wanted him to do an RFP for the boating services at the lake. It's not something that we've done before. Boating in Boston had just always been given it since I've been here. So Steve had reached out to me and asked if I had ever been involved with that. Well, I hadn't, but in Arlington, I know that we had a boating program and we put out RFPs for stuff all the time. So I reached out to Arlington. They haven't done one, which surprised me. And then I reached out to Woburn because I know Woburn has boating and they didn't do it either. They just do a contract that they just award. So I found Beverly Recreation did it and I know their director very well. So I got their RFP. We sent it over to Steve. Steve changed the language in it, ran it by town council, by Tom Mullen, town council. And that bid or that opportunity bid has gone out now. That is a public thing. I'm going to be involved in this process. I'm taking it that I'm going to have some supervision over it once the bid is awarded. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. Maybe just, checking in. Dennis Fazio will check in with the conditions of the parks. He and I will discuss that, and I'll be working with the vendors. So I'm excited. Again, you guys know I'm always happy to do other things and do more things because the more you can do, the more valuable you are, and I'm happy to do that. I already have a working relationship with Boating in Boston. If they get it, I don't know if they'll bid on it or if another group will bid on it. Whoever it is, I'm happy to work with it. And quite honestly, I think that can only enhance the boating opportunities that we already do. I did look over the bid. It does look like there's going to be a discount for Wakefield residents in there, which is great. We need to know who has what equipment. We need to know what they're willing to pay the town. So this is a process that's going to go on. I honestly don't know a whole lot else about it. I know that there's a walkthrough on April 8th with any vendors who are interested in seeing the site and asking some questions. And then the bids are turned in April 21st, I think, and then it'll be formally awarded at town council sometime in May. That's about,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's about the extent of the information I have, but I can try and answer questions.
But the program that they have now.
Yep.
Does the town get any kind of pay from them?
Nope.
But they want, this proposal would be that they would expect that there'll be payment.
Correct. That's how I'm
sounds good.
understanding it. Yep. And this isn't one of those situations where you're getting the low bid. This is where you're taking the high bid. Chris, do you have any questions? Because I know.
No, I was just refresh my memory. Anybody that can remember that far back when they first put those in. Remember, REI was interested in it originally to go down there and do that. I was shocked to find out that the town wasn't charging them money. They just let them go in there, boom, and put all that stuff in. You know, the canoes, you know, everything that the paddle boats, everything that they had. I was just kind of surprised that happened.
My guess is, and honestly, I know nothing about it, is at the time there wasn't anybody in place to be able to oversee it, and it was a service that could be provided to the town. I'm happy to oversee that vendor and collect any revenues that we can get for it. So,
did you have any idea like what kind of revenue would come in from that?
I don't. So it's funny, you know, every town.
I mean, it's new, so it's.
Every town's very different, and you know, so Arlington has a canoe program, and you know, I obviously worked there and worked for the current director there. I was stunned to find out that they actually reached out. This is not something that I want to do. They reached out to residents to see if anybody had canoes or kayaks that they wanted to donate, and they would rent those out, and they would make people bring their own life jackets and such, and they put a staff on. That's how they do it, and they actually have a bunch of canoes and kayaks. And I was absolutely dumbfounded that because I have no idea where they store it. And I know it's, you know, I know what the storage looks like, so I have no idea where they put those off season, but they're bringing enough to be able to pay a staff to be there 30 hours a week. You know, and it could be high school kids, it could be an adult. I don't exactly know who's working there, what they're getting, but they're bringing enough to do it, because I know that the Arlington Recreation Director is, you know, penny pinching to put it mildly. If it's not making money, he's not doing it. So they must be getting something out of it. And they're doing it on Spy Pond, where the Boys and Girls Club is also there and has a boating program. So they're getting something out of it.
Yeah.
I think it's good that you'll be involved. I think that's really good. And
I'll
I
be
think it's
honest.
also good the town's going to get some money out of it.
The moment I saw the RFP from Beverly and I saw everything went back to the recreation director, in my mind I said, uh-oh, I'm going to get this. You know, sure enough, I did. But we're happy.
And it's good because somebody should have the interests of the town and the townspeople and the people that like to use the lake that don't necessarily want to see, you know, boats laying around or in disrepair or whatever.
Right.
No, I think that's great.
I know, I'm excited by it. You know, it's another new opportunity, another way to grow in the job, and I think it's a great service that we can provide. And if I can have a good working relationship with the company, I only see that as a benefit to the town in so many ways. Any other questions about the boating? Okay, because I didn't know if I had any more answers, so that's good. The last thing I have is, so we have a few people who are up for reappointment. We have Annie, who's up for reappointment. We have Christine, who's up for reappointment, and Todd has decided not to seek reappointment to the board. As I mentioned to a few of you who are already on, Todd his family's expecting a second child. So he's going to have a lot more dad duties, and we're thrilled for him. So he's going to take more family time. In fact, he couldn't be here tonight, which would have been, I believe, his last meeting anyways, because his family's in town from South Carolina. So we'll miss him. He's a great guy. Hopefully I'll see him around at programs, but he's stepping off. So we have 3 spots. Annie's obviously up. She should be a slam dunk for hers. Chris is up for hers. She should be a slam dunk for hers. And the third person who applied is Tony.
I don't know about that. Yes, I applied, and I put with a resume and a cover letter.
Well, Chris, there's only 3 people and there's 3 spots. And the third person's Tony, who's looking to get back on, Tony Longo.
Yay.
Good.
So, I'm personally excited about that. I am asked to ask you all if you have any questions, comments about that, anything, any questions or concerns, so I can pass those along to the town council.
Is the, I hesitate to even bring up this question, but is the deadline date passed that
Yeah.
somebody can?
Yeah.
So there's 3 people in 3
3
positions.
Yep.
Wasn't it February 12th?
It was a while ago. And
Yeah,
I'd
but you had to have it in, yeah.
if there was
Yeah, at
any-
least you knew.
Well, Jean, I was thinking of you, honey.
But no, that's good. That's good.
Yep.
That's a good thing.
So, obviously, if this is the board that we're going to have plus Tony, I'm excited. And obviously, everything still needs to go through a vote. But seeing as there's 3 and there's 3 spots, I think that's going to be our board. So, personally, I think it's great. Annie has done a fantastic job of keeping me included in a lot of conversations on Facebook that I don't see. Recently, a bunch of parents were asking about BMXing or skateboarding potential programs. And with the amount of stuff on Facebook, you all know, you can't keep track of it all. So I don't see half of it. Somebody asked, how can the recreation department get involved? Annie tagged me on it. And, I mentioned in the post that, we have a BMX track operator who might be interested. Getting a skateboard instructor is harder than finding a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, because I've been trying it for years and I've never come up successful for that. But I did reach out to BMX, to Roger. He had intimated to me that to run actual BMX classes, there is a certification that you need. He doesn't have it, and he doesn't know of any of the racers that do. That being said, he'd feel comfortable doing a beginner's kind of class, kind of an intro, here's what you kind of do, here's what you don't do kind of program, with him and a few of the other racers there. And I said to him, listen, this can only be a benefit to you guys. You want to increase ridership, get them young. And he's very interested. So we're in conversations about how we can get that done, make that happen. Of course, he has, a personal life and a home life and a work life. See how we can coordinate all that and maybe make that into a reality. So, thank you, Annie, for keeping me included in that conversation. And Annie's done that a couple of times.
Well, thanks for jumping in. It's nice. People sometimes are thinking outside of the box, and I think you're always really receptive to new ideas. And that was one example of you just jumped right in and talked to the person who might be able to make it work. So thank you for that.
Well, I know that I don't have all the answers, and I know that I don't know what people are always looking for. Recreation, we are all very cookie cutter. We, basketball, baseball, softball, lacrosse, soccer, those are easy. I mean, those are staple sports right now. So what are the things that are outside the box that you're looking for? And if there's an interest there, I'll do what I can to make it happen. Does it always? No. But I'm lucky that I've had enough contacts over the years to be able to navigate some of it. But I would have missed that entirely. And then, somebody would have had, can the recreation department get involved? And we're not answering. And I feel like we're doing a disservice. So, anytime you guys see posts like that, feel free to tag me, because I want to help where I can. Sometimes the answer is going to be no. But if there's a way to do it, I'm going to do my best to find it. So, keep
It's
me.
nice to be responsive, even if the answer is no. It's just nice for people to know that you're there and you're willing to consider it. So I think that's great.
And I saw, after Annie tagged me, there was a bunch of people who were following that conversation. So there's genuine interest there. So I think BMX will find a way to make that work. And, even if it's a, drop in one day, $10 class, well, okay. And, I told Roger, listen, I'll split proceeds with you. I'll kick it back to you guys at the track. so you guys can do improvements or upgrades to things that you want to do or buy equipment that you need. I think it's a win-win for them. It's a win-win for us and obviously for the kids. So any other questions, comments, or otherwise about our pending people up for reappointment or our new person for appointment? No?
Is it April 1st that the new term officially starts? So Tony would be at the next meeting?
No, it's got to go through the town council.
Yeah, actually, the vote for town council is March 26th.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I'd imagine it'd be right about then. So
Okay.
in our next meeting, just so you know, not that we're there yet, will be April 21st. Nope, that's a lie because I'm away that week. April 28th.
Lie.
April 28th. So yes, Tony should be well in place by that point.
Is there any chance we can meet in person sometime?
I'm told no.
What is the reason for that? Kids are going back to school. It's just us.
The biggest
You know,
thing,
there's a
Chris, the
big
biggest
enough
thing,
space.
honestly, is these meetings need to be recorded. That's what I'm told. The public record.
So, can you hear me
Oh,
now?
you sound good. No,
Yeah.
So I went
Jack.
into the computer and switched some of the settings on the microphone. Is it better now?
It
it
is
worked,
better.
yeah.
All right. So again, I just got this computer. Blame David Barrett has set the computer up for the record. Anyway, our other meetings were recorded. Is that something kind of new?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. And again, I don't know all the particulars. What I heard was all meetings will need to be recorded in the future. And that's kind of where we're at.
So we're going to be inviting WCAT to our meetings now to record our, when
No.
we go back to in person?
From what I understand, where we used to meet at Town Hall, the first floor office, the first floor conference room there, that actually has recording equipment there.
Okay.
That's what I was told recently by,
It does. I know that.
oh, that's right, yeah. So that's a possibility. I think that we will be remote for a while. And you guys know I prefer in person. I mean, I want to see everybody's face. I want to be able to have the conversations, personal ones, after the meeting, before the meeting, talk about Matthew Slater and everybody on the Patriots. Those are things.
Matthew Slater.
Those are things that we
My
do.
favorite.
What happened to Matthew Slater?
I love him. He's my favorite.
That's a guy. So those are the conversations that I miss having because we're doing it over Zoom. So I like to get back in person when we can. We're not there yet, and I don't know when that's going to be. Anything else, Chris?
Well, this is the second best thing.
It works.
At least you get to see, well, almost we get to see. We don't get to see Chris, but
Well, hopefully my daughter-in-law is going to come over and she does IT over at the Stoneham schools. I said, Kim, you need to come over and help your mother-in-law. Tech challenged.
So that's all I have. I don't know if you guys have anything else for me. No. Okay.
It's an exciting summer that's shaping up. So it's nice to hear everything you have, especially knowing everything that needed to be canceled last year. So it's really nice to hear all of the plans.
Fingers crossed.
Mhm.
And honestly, I think we'll have a big summer. And most things, and this is what I'm really excited about. A lot of the stuff that we have going on is going to take place right at the Galvin. So the office is right there. I don't like to stick my nose into too much, but I like my eyeballs and everything. So it's nice. It'll be good.
Great.
So if you guys don't have anything for me, we'll entertain motions.
A motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I